truly, you've heard me say it, those of you who've been in the room with me before, and I did speak once at an accountancy group, and the woman said, Kay, I'm not even in the terminal, I'm so far away from driving my own bus. And you can get with that analogy how probably out of control she felt at the time. So that's really the essence behind the book. It is really, and so many people have said to me, when are you going to write this down? And I'd already had that said to me before. I wrote a book, The Age of Being Understood, in 2011. And that's a kind of entry point. And I absolutely stand by the book. It's still fun to read. It's also still very strategic. But it's nothing like this. I wanted this book to be, if I fell under a bus, my career bus, I wanted it to be something like a legacy of some form, that you could actually pick it up and know what I would have said to you in that moment if I'm not there, or if I'm asleep. But truly, it's part legacy, and it's also part, obviously, something I just had to say. But it wasn't that easy, let's say. So, behind this, and I came up, you know the Infinite 8, you see Virgin Media use it, you see all sorts, and I was like, I love 8. And I suddenly, when I had this idea, I saw all these principles, and there were 7, and then of course I found the 8th, which became the first. But there are actually 8 point something, and this is another part of the story which I'm going to share with you, because as you get going, anytime you really stretch yourself, you have to get going to find out what you really want to do. We all know this, and those of you, or those of us that say who have perfectionist tendencies, anyone in the room? It's very easy to keep tweaking and thinking I can't start until it's all perfect, until I know exactly what to do. And I promise you, that is procrastination in another outfit. It absolutely is. You're procrastinating by wanting it to be perfect. And when I heard someone say that, I just thought, yes, all the time I'm not starting this. This is actually what I'm doing. So it's another thing to give yourself permission. So these are the 8 principles, and we are going to look at them. And they constantly flow. It's a cycle. And I thought, with a little tongue-in-cheek, women are used to their own cycles, let's be honest. We all have cycles. And there is a cycle. It's not just, I've got a new job, and I now can sit back. Or I've put my CV together, and now I can sit back. Or I've been to a networking meeting, got lots of business cards, and now I can sit back. It's about really, constantly, the cycle is constantly moving. And that's why that 8 is so important. So you will see that come through in the book itself. And as you read it, I really wanted you to hear my voice. It's not as if I'm speaking, there's no airs in there, but I am speaking like I'm hoping I'm speaking to you. And the 8 principles: embrace your expansion. Because when you decide to do something a bit different, you have to be a bit more you. Discover what's out there. Not just think you're in a vacuum and that you can only do this, and this is what you've grown up doing. Look at how more widely you can position your skills, the transferable skills that you all have, we all have, but we often underestimate. Prepare, plot and plan, that's the other thing. I do love a bit of strategy, looking about, okay, where am I at, what's my LinkedIn profile look like, where's my CV, who do I know, what's other people doing, how come it works for them, let me have a coffee with them and ask them how they got into that position, this kind of thinking. Then there's leverage your connections, well that kind of goes without saying, looking at who you know and who's who in the zoo, and how you can help them to help you. Because it's easy, again, as a woman, we think, I can't ask for help, I need to do this all by myself, everything's fine, no, I'm fine, which I've said, and I know I haven't been. Then shine in interviews and appraisals. So many women underestimate the power of their appraisal, their one-to-one, their personal review. They think it's a tick box exercise, which often it is for maybe your manager or your boss, but you don't have to make it a tick box exercise. And in the book, I share with you how to prepare to shine in your appraisal, to make it work for you, not to wait for someone else to tell you how brilliant you've been this year, but for you to actually really focus and drill down into what you've done. And of course, interviews, it goes without saying, it's always good to be prepared for an interview. You never know. I'm going along for a conversation. Anyone who knows me or has been in my zone of influence, let's say, knows that one of the best things I think you can do is go along for a chat. You don't have to be interested in the role. You can go along and practice. You can go along and find out what's going on. You can go along and be, as my client Ali, be told, actually this role isn't for you, but we've got a role coming up that is for you. Can we stay in touch? Because you were there. So again, in interviews, there's a whole piece about how to prepare yourself mentally for interviews. Then negotiate more for yourself. About how to actually talk about money and to be able to be prepared to talk about your money and your bonus and what it is you want to have happen. And then accepting and moving on with grace and gratitude. It may be an internal move, how you do that, how you talk about it. And your first 100 days and beyond, how you actually start in a new role. And it might be that you've been promoted in your new role, you're still in the same seat, but you have a different role, and so therefore you have a different way of being, and people expect that of you. So this is how the cycle evolved. And last Thursday, ladies, I am sharing this with you in the room, that my book, our book, it's a collective, became a #1 bestseller on Amazon in the States. And I am a bit gobsmacked, but at the same time, I just thought I'm going to keep this in and share it live in the room. I'm so honoured. I absolutely am honoured. And I know Amazon isn't Waterstones, but it's much wider than Waterstones. When you go onto Amazon, you put yourself in the ocean rather than the pond of things locally. And you know, you've all got books in your bookshelves. Somebody says I have shelf development rather than self-development. But anyway, I do have books that aren't necessarily to be found, in Smith's, but I found them on Amazon because someone recommended them. So it truly is like going into the ocean, and I'm so honoured. So I wanted to share that with you in this moment. But, it started with an explosion. I had an explosion to kind of pull this book out of me. I saw someone kind of copying me. Now, I do a lot of things that are similar with a lot of people, but there was someone who had been in my vicinity, and I thought, hang on a minute, you're sounding really like me, and I know how I sound because I kind of am me. So I was very, let's say, emotional about it, because it's like, I know what it takes to build what I'm building and what I've built. And I've invested hugely in my own development to be able to do this. And for someone else to sort of think, I'll cut and paste that and turn it into my marketing. Snowy and I were looking at cease and desist and I just thought, hang on a minute. And this is the explosion they knew. I was like, you haven't seen anything yet. If you think you know what I do, this was very listen. You don't know about this, and as I was writing, I was like, oh my God, I didn't do what? And I was writing, and I wish I'd kept a piece of paper. I wrote down what are probably 6 of the principles in the book. You don't know about this, you don't know about that, you think you know. It came from probably what you could argue is fury, which isn't always the greatest energy, but it drives you. Sometimes you really need to be provocable. We're very much taught, let things go, be easy. And I'm very much one for that. There's so much that you don't have to care about. But there are a few things that you do. And when someone really steps on you, it's a really good example of actually making it work. And my own mentor, Andrea, all the way out in Canada, she said to me, channel it. Channel that energy. Oh, what a great word. So ladies, my first thing for you is when you have one of those moments where it's like, where can I use this energy to my advantage? Where can I redirect it and really channel it? It was such a good expression. So it started with an explosion, and then I sat with this piece of pink paper that I'd written on the kitchen table and looked at it, and it had a sort of swirl on it because I knew it was kind of round, and I thought, well, this could be a TV show. I could, it could be The Apprentice, but in another way. Then my brain was like, but we'd have to interview people, and women would want to talk about it, and then, is it a book? Oh, I don't want to do a book. I can't, a book is so hard, have I done it before? So I sat with it. And I knew it was special. So what I actually did was turned it into a spreadsheet. Hey, from my insurance broking background. And I used a lot of the principles over telephone calls, working with clients, with my golden circle, actually, because I suddenly was clear about it. but it made me sit with it, and it was a while I sat with it. I have actually the spreadsheet here, which I'm going to refer to. It truly is, and it was scrappy, and it was like a table. But the point was, could I actually even do it? What was I going to do with it? So I did sit with it, and I procrastinated. It came to me in early 17. I fiddled around, I used this, and I kept sort of flirting with what I was going to do with it, until I got kind of fed up with myself. Like, really? Are you really going to do all this, sit with this? And so I decided towards the end of 2017 that I was going to do something with it, and to make the space. And I hosted a 3-day live event, as a number of you know, and I thought I can't possibly commit to an event next year if I am going to write this book, because I just won't be able to do it all. So instead of sitting with it, I did take a leap of faith. I decided to pick a date, which is one of the best things you can ever do. If you want to make something happen, pick a date. I chose the 4th of October, today, which was going to be the day the book was going to be launched, because it would have been the first day of my live event had I been hosting it. And then I didn't do anything. And the 4th of October, the table, and I was like, oh God. So, as I say, that would have been the event. That was the event last year, the 5th, 6th and 7th. It would have been the 4th, 5th, 6th. And there's Jenny, bless you, look at you there, in the room. So I picked a date, and there is the view from, we stay in a hotel in Barbados. We've been staying there for 14 years. Same hotel, same room for 14 years. And on the 28th of January, I decided I would start writing the book, because on the 27th of January, I sat on the beach and I knew I'd piss myself off, I will say that, by reading this book, The War of Art. Who's read, I know Debbie, you've read it. It's monster if you want to give yourself a big old kick in the backside to do something. It's not all about writing, he does talk about writing, but a project, a something, a creation of something you want to do. And I said to Snow, I'm going to read the book, just let me read it. I'm probably going to irritate myself, and I may be a little ratty, but I'm going to see what happens. And on the 28th, I got up at 6 o'clock on holiday, so I don't want to, the heat, and I want to enjoy it. And I started writing the book. But what I had done on the 16th of January with Helen was I had said to Helen, I've got to write, if I write this book, if I do get going, it's going to be sort of, I just got to write as I speak. And so I said to Helen, it's probably going to start something like, and then I typed out this. Literally, you were there, weren't you, Helen?
I was.
Your career is like a bus, a big red London bus, if you will. You can either be up the front in the driver's seat with the responsibility for the controls and the direction it takes, or you can be a passenger. Most of the time, it's up to you to drive your own career bus. Why should anyone else be more interested and invested in your own career success and satisfaction than you? And that Helen and I looked at each other and said, oh well, we started. So that is literally as it starts. Pick a place to start, but always pick yourself. Because it's very easy to back everyone else and forget to back yourself. So that's where we started. And one of the things that I want to share with you is I haven't done any of this on my own. Okay, I sat at my Mac, my trusty Mac, which actually did need replacing in December. So I was like, oh my God, I got this new machine and I'm going to start. And I now have tennis elbow ladies a little bit. I've had to have acupuncture because I've done so much mouse work with the book. So it's one of the sort of, let's say, injuries that I sustained from it. But I haven't done this by myself. Helen, my PA, was there in the moment. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm on your slides. Helen, my PA, has been beady-eyed throughout. Those of you who are in the book know that I've checked in with you. She's asked for your permission for the stories, going back and forth. I thank all of you for your partnership in that. Bob, my publisher out there in Canada, he wrote a book with 101 reasons why you must write a book. James, simply.
Water that's gone down.
Okay, maybe not more.
Yeah, no.
I hate anyone suffering in silence. And his book started me writing my own 101 reasons why you must write a book. Now I know it's not necessarily what you're thinking of doing right now, but just have it plugged away that there's so many things you can do as a result of writing some of your stuff down. Even if it's a blog, it doesn't have to to be a book, your expertise. That's Kathy. She's my beady-eyed editor who's out there in the States. We've never met, and I was recommended to her, and I said to her, you're American. I don't want you to turn me into American. I don't want anything, I don't want to start talking about the car bonnet and you talking about the hood, and I can't have any of that. She said, trust me, send me a chapter. So I'm very protective. Sent her a chapter. And she said, just read it when it comes back. If you like my style, great. We'll work together. If you don't, I'm cool. Well, it came back tighter. That's the only way I can describe it. She'd taken out some of my more expansiveness and made it tighter. So the book is absolutely made stronger as a result of Kathy's beady eyes, and literally sometimes cutting my legs off. This is a repetition. Take that out. I've put this somewhere else, or are you really meaning this? It's so helpful because you get so close to things you can't see. So Erin is my book designer, and Erin is out there in California, and we haven't seen each other for about 7 years, but she and I work together, literally bringing the book to what it looks like now, going back and forth. She's 8 hours behind, so there was all that kind of first thing in the morning, last thing at night, but it was worth it because we like to work with people we like. I was looking around for a book designer, and on LinkedIn, where do you start? I mean, truly, where do you start? People go back to me, and then I looked at their work, and then they were too busy, and then and then they were like, well, and I just thought, I can't work with flakiness. It's not how I work. Anyone who knows me knows that. And so I went to Erin, who isn't a book designer. She's a brand specialist. But she said, we can do this with enough time. We'll work it out. We'll do it. And of course, I love working with her. And you'll be the judge of it when you see it. My friend Janet, who became a proofreader by accident, because she's one of my beadiest-eyed friends. She's an English teacher, and we used to work here at Willis together. That's how we met each other. She's in the book as a story. And I said to Janet when I said, I can't read the book anymore. I keep seeing tweaks, but I can't read it. Snowy's read it, and Helen had read it, and there were just so many. And she said, leave it with me. £20 an hour. Like, fine. 13 hours of proofreading. She made the book with the grammar, the colon, the quotes, all of these things. So I'm sharing this with you, not to impress you, but to really impress upon you that it's not, it wasn't necessarily so much easy as much as it was a partnership. It was absolutely a partnership with so many people behind the scenes. Then of course there's Snowy White, my husband, who's at the back here, my cheerleader, but also who gave me the space and encouragement to do it. He was like, of course you can do it. I want you to write another book. I like the idea of my wife writing a book, but you don't have to do it. So he left me with space, and a lot of it was on the weekends, which was of course great for him because he likes to watch Grand Prix and the qualifiers. So of course, while I'm somewhere else, but I truly mean that. It's very easy. I have a lot of clients who've said to me, they're going for it in their career, and it's like they've got the handbrake on because their partner is not as supportive or not letting them really get going. And I used to work with someone who was really pushed with what she was doing. She was the primary breadwinner, and her husband was at home asking what time she'd be home to put potatoes on. That was a while ago, but I know it still happens, and that is the definition of never ever really being able to get going properly anywhere, is it? You're not going to be successful at home or at work. So these are some of my clients. We had a private retreat. We dressed up because we all love a bit of glitter. Close client circle and collective of stories. Many women in the room are in the book. Many women who aren't in the room are in the book. But I just wanted to show you again, I don't stay behind my computer all the time, typing, but I have done a lot recently, and I have felt a little bit like a hermit crab. But that's a very special place to be. And I asked Fiona, who works here at Willis, whether she would be able to think about us hosting the event here, the launch here. That's my dad, who died in 2012, I think. No, earlier than that. Longer than that. Sorry, 2008. And my dad started working at Willis. And he said to me when I left school, come and see what the old family firm's got going on. Well, of course, it's not an old family firm in the same way as it was, but that's how I got through the door at Willis. Someone opens the door invariably for you at some point in your life. And my dear dad was an underwriter. That's him in his underwriting room at Willis. And to be here with you at Willis, in a different building clearly, is so special. And I wanted my dad to be here because he'd be so proud, as would my mum. My mum would have said, oh, she could always do it, but my dad was a bit more, well, come on then, show me. That face tells you. But I had to bring my dad here because, again, it's very easy not to bring the human part of you to things. And how could I not? So, I did have to make a few tough calls along the way. And one of them, first of all, was who do I work with? How do I do this? Am I going to be able to do it? Am I going to do it in time? Because you have to make decisions, otherwise it starts to float away with you. And you start talking about it, and then everyone's like, well, where is it? So I haven't decided. So you can hear. So I did have to make a few tough calls. And one of the first tough calls was the first designer who I fired, or let me go, let's say. That was their first draft for my book cover. Would you have bought that? Seen it? Is that me?
No.
That looks like the toilet door. That looks like the toilet door. And what really staggers me, is I gave them copies of they designed my first book. So they knew me, but they were kind of, yeah, we'll fit you in. But we should have actually just never worked together, because they said, well, leave it with us, we haven't got much time, but we're trying to fit you in the summer. And when that came back, I was sitting at a conference at coffee time, and I opened it, and I nearly spat my coffee out. I was like, really? So, there is a toilet door for you. I had to photograph it. So, another thing was being let go. They actually said to me, I went back and said, the cover, this, and this, I like what you've done with the design, but can I use someone else for the cover? And they came back and said, Kay, we're letting you go. Here are all the files. If you like the internal bit, have that, and we're letting you go, because we're not going to be able to satisfy you. What we find is we work with corporates and they don't care so much. You are so invested in it because it's yours and it represents you, and you're going to be a hard client to work for, so we can't work with you. So at the time I was a bit like, oh, I've been fired. But actually, wasn't that a blessing? Because I actually got my act together and said to Erin, we can do this. I bought them a case of Whispering Angel and sent it to those designers to thank them for letting me have the file that I really wanted, and to send them on their way with good energy. And she came back to me thrilled. They had a summer party. She said, we're taking our designers to the circus. Sorry. And we'll have a picnic in the park, and we'll use the Whispering Angel, which is one of my favourite rosés if you're ever interested in trying something delicious. So I sent them on their way as well. And here's the thing. You have to really let go of the perfection piece, let go of all the things you think it should be. I thought I wanted to work with this designer company again, but look what happened. And so letting go and actually allowing them to let me go was such a blessing for me to be able to get going. And that's me. That truly is how I felt. I sat down and started writing, and then Helen and I put together a writing plan, because I said, if I'm going to do this, we have to work backwards. Who works backwards? I always work backwards. If you want the fourth, if you get that, after that. And I started to get myself into a bit of a state, but I did start writing. And I did write in order, actually. A lot of people start wherever they feel, but I actually wrote and followed my own structure. And I threw myself on the floor, because when I got to a point where I knew that it was closely ready, it was nearly ready, and that's when I called in Janet, the proofreader. You can't see that, but that arrow says comments 924. And I thought we'd finished. Snowy read it, and Helen had read it. Now, not everything is a mistake. I was a secretary, let's be honest, so I can type with my eyes closed. It wasn't typos as much as, do you mean this? Should that have a capital there? Is it an abbreviation? Is it a semicolon? 924. You can see that's just the first page about the author, and you can see all her yellow comments. So there have been real moments, and another moment was size matters, and I have to tell you this. We all know this sort of tongue-in-cheek bit, but this is the DHL man delivering my book, and I was so excited, and I opened it, and this is it. And because Erin and I were pretty new at this, and she didn't necessarily get her head around size, the print is so tiny. You can't see it, but it's tiny, and it's squashed. And I thought, I'm all about spaciousness and expansiveness and time. So we had time, and it now looks more like that, which is much more, I can get my head around that, or I can get into that. So I had time, and I looked at it and I thought, do I do something about this? Also, ladies, let's be honest, it's a little flimsy. I was thinking, this is some of my life's work, and this is a bit flimsy. So I asked a few friends, Karen included, and whilst I know you said it wouldn't put you off, it was also a bit, bug-eyed to read. I wanted you to be able to read it and write it, and I want you to be able to make it come alive. So we had enough time to turn it back into this. But again, that's all taking a deep breath, the deadline's moving, all sorts of other things moving. So I would say here really that the road to the book has been hold on to what it is you're planning, but stay loose as to how it's actually going to happen. And you can hear just from this some of the tests that I've had. So I want you to have a moment with each other. What will you take or make from what I just shared with you? Some other thing. Just take a couple of minutes to pop the call again with your partner about what